Austin's affordability has gotten out of control. Will this new bond help Austin's affordability issues going forward? Jeremy at the Night Group, your favorite Austin realtor. So over the last 2 years, especially in the Austin area, we've seen a lot of issues with affordability. Prices have gotten kind of out of control, especially since the pandemic. Right now, we're sitting at a median price for the Austin area, about $615,000. In the MSA, which is the area around Austin, the median is about $537,000. So we've talked about this in the past. The other side of Austin's affordability is the fact that rental rates have begun to skyrocket. Now, I know there's a lot of channels out there that said that the Austin rental rates weren't catching up with resale values. Well, that's kind of changing. And an article I just saw that showed that it was a 108% increase in rental prices in the Austin area. And an article I'm about to reference, we'll talk about that a little bit more. Drop a comment below, though. Are you seeing these unaffordability issues in your area? What do you think about these issues? And the article we're about to talk about, what Austin's about to do, I want to hear from you. Have you heard about it? Any information you have, drop it below. I want to hear from you throughout this video. So here's what City Council just voted to do. There's a $350 million bond that's set to help affordability that they passed that is now going to the voters in Austin to vote for. Now, in my experience, anytime something's put on a ballot in Austin, it's gonna look a lot better and people are gonna vote for it. See my Prop A videos. If you look at some of the verbiage on here, they're just anticipating people to read the word affordability and just vote for affordability because look, affordability is a major issue in the Austin area. We are talking about it right now. So we just passed a bond in 2018 to give $250 million towards affordability. So basically what these companies are that take this money from taxpayers is that they go and they take this, they subsidize rents. The city goes out and hires companies to buy land, build properties, and then subsidize the rents. Well, that comes from the taxpayer dollar. So my biggest issue when we came to the Prop A video is just how they explained it and how the taxes came out. We're going to go through the article right now to talk about how that's actually going to impact in these things right here. So from the Austin Business Journal, Austin City Council on July 28th approved putting an affordable housing bond package on the November ballot. It'll be $350 million. It'll be the largest bond of its kind in the history. Approval would funnel, I love how they use the word funnel, would funnel money to the development of affordable housing as well as maintenance of existing properties. What's interesting is that 2013, 18, we've had votes and given taxpayer dollars, so taxpayers being those homeowners that purchase homes, pay more in taxes, and that money goes to subsidizing rents and things like that. So they're going to take more tax dollars. But here's the thing is that hasn't helped in the past. It's helped a little bit, but that $250 million that we just voted for 2018, which was part of Prop A, is already running out. And I said that at the very, very beginning. And what my biggest issue with Prop A is that $250 million wasn't going to do much. And now they want to funnel more. Now, I think it's going to be in a total now that they voters have voted for almost over $1 billion in total. So that's a lot of money towards affordability. Does it help? What do you think? Has Austin gotten more affordable from the last 2 rounds of affordability money that we've taken from homeowners? You answer in the comments below. Critics of the measure have said that Austin should not issue new debt, instead focus on changing regulations to improve affordability. This has been one of my biggest issues, and if you've watched Real Migos and the channel, I've talked about this quite a bit. There's a lot that we could be doing to reduce the red tape, because I've heard it costs developers like 50 grand just in red tape to get a development started, and I've heard from other people that it's more. I think if we take that money and reduce that, and made it easier for developers to develop in the Austin area, that would help drive affordability because those upfront costs don't get paid. Now, look, everybody got upset when rents went up this year, and I was one of those people that said, hey, rents are going up because of X, yet people got mad at me and just said, who cares about landlords? What happens, though, is more bonds like this get passed. And as more bonds like this get passed, I, the landlord, have to raise rents to actually make ends meet. And in Austin and in Texas, where we see property taxes increase substantially and some of the highest property taxes in the country, that definitely hurts affordability. Now, if you think about this, we're about to vote, and I'll go through the numbers, to vote to add more tax dollars. Now, one of the laws is that cities can only raise taxes 3.5%. Yet if they put a bond on the ballot in something like this for construction, they can get away with putting this on the ballot and getting you and me to vote for it. One of my biggest issues about how we vote for things is the fact that anybody pretty much can vote on one of these bonds, even though it doesn't necessarily impact them. But if we go back to the rental part of it, I was talking about one of my properties went from $5,500 a year all the way up to $9,500 a year in 1 year in property taxes. That's an additional $310 a month. And as I said earlier, you've seen that rental rates have gone up pretty substantially. And part of that is because we saw historic tax increases. So since the city can't increase taxes over 3.5%, they do these bonds, they get more tax dollars from us. So keep that in mind when you're voting for things like this. Will this actually help affordability? That's the big question. So proponents of this have said that in 2013 and 2018, when we put in these bonds, it created an additional 7,500 construction jobs and generated more than $1 billion in the local economy. So there is some benefit to this. The challenge is, are all those workers local? If they hired 7,500 people that were potentially homeless and put them into jobs building these, apartment buildings, these low cost things, that would actually be pretty beneficial and help the local community. But the reality is that big construction companies come in and do this construction and bid out these construction works. So one of the big proponents behind this bill is Housing Works of Austin. And I can't even say this guy's name, but Azar said, we can help those in the community who are most in need. Azar told members of city council prior to the vote, such a bond will provide housing opportunities to low-income folks and provide home ownership opportunities to middle-income folks and allow veterans and seniors to stay in the community. Now, he doesn't really go too far deep on how that will actually do that. So far, I would say a lot of the money that they are saying is actually going to go help fix homes and fix homes that need help. Now, something like that I think is very beneficial because there's a lot of people who don't have the means to repair their home. So I feel like something like this could be done in a good way and help those people. Either way, I think it's always great helping people with their properties. So here's where my biggest critique with this bill is that according to the memo from Austin Deputy Chief Financial Officer Kimberly Oliveras, $300 million bond would increase a homeowner's property tax. Now it says $300 million, not $350 million. So keep that in mind. They like to change things around. It's a $350 million bond. $300 million bond is what she's saying in these notes. This would increase property taxes for homeowners by $40 a year, typical home value at $448,000, taxable $358,000. So what's really interesting about this is when they say that, is that the median price is $537,000, taxed a lot higher. So this is my biggest issue when we had Prop A, is the fact that they kind of fudged the numbers, and they're fudging the numbers now again. Do you think that this bond is going to go far enough to actually help and make a dent in affordability, since affordability is an issue that we're having a lot of problems with? I don't know. That's up to you. Drop a comment. So I really do doubt that it's going to be just $45 a year. On properties higher, you're talking about probably $100, $150 a year. So you're saying to me, Jeremy, but $45 or $150 a year isn't that big of a deal. Well, we just passed Prop A that added an additional $450 to most homes. In fact, it's much more. In fact, that's a bill that's never going to go away. And there was affordability in that bill that has already been used up. Anyway, City Council voted 8-1-1 on this. So it is going to the voters to vote for. So I want to hear from you. If you're a voter voting in the Austin area, do you think a bill like this would actually help affordability? So advocates for this are saying affordable housing is always a benefit to the economy, certainly through jobs created by new construction, but even more importantly, because without affordable housing, we are also losing out on creation of new jobs and opportunities, new art, creativity, and the economic activity associated with those things. Those are all buzzwords for the most part, yet I do think some of this money could potentially help people. My problem is that they already use the word funnel. And so I think that proponents against this are going to tell you that it just raises property taxes, making it actually more unaffordable for people to buy homes. Because you just think about it, we just raised property taxes on most homes about $500 to $600 a year for Prop A and B. Now you're adding another $150 a year. So that's almost another $1,000 a year you're adding to someone's property taxes just for this bond. It doesn't necessarily make renting any affordable, because those owners that are renting out homes are actually going to have to raise rents because of this, because it's going to hit their bottom line. So what do you think? Drop a comment below. Is this good for Austin? Are voters going to vote for it like they always do in Austin? Let's hear from you in the comments.